Alright game changers, welcome back to another video here today. Splitgate 2 could build honestly one of the most loyal FPS community if, and that's the key word here, if the developers do it right. Arena shooters have been fading fast, trust in live service games is at an all-time low, and also most players are tired of being burned by these overhyped shooters that just drop hot and die cold. But Splitgate 2 I think actually has a chance to flip that script, and if it learns from the past, especially from its first game, and build something that players can believe in, I think it has that chance to deliver. Now let's first of all start by talking about the current state of FPS games. And what we've got right now is either a bloated mega franchise like Call of Duty, you got battle royales that constantly reset your grind, and even live service games that throw cosmetics at you, but then they forget how to keep the gameplay fresh. Now most shooter communities these days don't feel like communities at all. They really just feel like consumers. You log in, you grind a battle pass, and then you log out until the next season, and there's no real sense of that loyalty. I mean, just look at Halo Infinite, one of the most passionate fan bases in gaming history. It was one of my favorites of all time, but obviously that has faded. And even they couldn't keep that community engaged because guess what? The content just wasn't there and the support was way too slow. But Splitgate, on the other hand, always had that spark with the first game. When the original blew up in 2021, people loved it because it felt different, like a mashup of Halo and Portals, but with the tight gameplay and genuinely fun gunfights. What it lacked, however, and this is why, and it ultimately led to its kind of downfall and why it fell off, was the long-term vision wasn't there and also the resources. That's what Splitgate 2 is trying to fix, and I see that they're already heading in that direction. They're doing a great job of that. Now the reason why people still talk about the original Splitgate isn't because of the insane graphics or the flashy marketing, it's because it was genuinely fun. Portals added that new layer of skill expression, the map control actually mattered, and the gunplay felt responsive. I originally thought that the Portals would be something that I would not necessarily like because it would just be too much. And yes, for players who are like pros at the game, who are really knowledgeable of portal placement, can really get ahead of players who are not so good at portals or who are noobs at the portal mechanics. But at the same time, I still think there's enough players that don't care so much for portals like myself and then use them sparingly that are still able to do pretty good. But what the portal system does is it scratches that competitive itch, especially for people who missed the arena shooter vibe, because it gives you that skill gap. But again, despite that strong foundation of the first game, it hit a ceiling because it was built on outdated tech, it had slow update cycles, and eventually just couldn't compete with the faster moving giants in that space. And that's why the devs at 1047 Games made a bold move. Instead of patching an aging engine, they scrapped it all together and started fresh. Now Splitgate 2 isn't just a sequel, it's a second chance for a reboot with new tech, new engine, and a shot at building something that is more long lasting. And it can, that's why I said even in the title, it has a possibility to build the most loyal FPS community. And they can't just give us portals, they gotta do more than that, and they need to nail the full package here. So here's where the if comes in. Splitgate 2 needs to have no gimmicks, no pay to win nonsense, no overcomplicated meta, just fast, satisfying combat, the kind of gunplay that makes you say, just one more match at 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Like that is addicting gameplay, a game that makes you want to keep coming back. Also, number 2, I believe it needs to have supported rank system and casual equally. If Splitgate 2 launches with a real rank system, visible MMR, and consistent updates, and also keeps the casual fun for the newer players, it'll win both sides of that equation. Also, not to forget, the custom games and community tools are really important. I can't stress enough how important those are because some of the most loyal shooter communities come from player-made content. When you think about Halo's Forge or Counter-Strike's workshop maps, if Splitgate 2 gives us map editors, custom lobbies, or even a theater mode, people will stick around for way longer. Now the Splitgate 2 community devs really know what the players are wanting, so I'm gonna give them kudos because they're headed in that direction. Another thing is the communication. I think communication is absolutely key, and that's one of the things that I give praise to the XDefiant devs for, because they were constantly communicating with the community. It's just unfortunate that the game couldn't be around for as long as it probably needed to be. But regardless, I think the Splitgate 2 devs are almost on par with the same exact thing, because one of the biggest killers of multiplayer games is silence. If the Splitgate devs stay active, transparent, and actually listen to player feedback, they'll keep that trust alive, which is, again, like I said before, is very rare in today's FPS scene, which XDefiant devs definitely had. The 1047 games devs really have something special here going for them, especially with the promise of the CEO constantly providing updates as well. That's definitely a good sign. Also, you want a game that rewards loyalty and not just wallets, because free to play is fine, don't get me wrong, cosmetics are even fine, but if you want loyalty in a game, you need to reward the grind and dedication. Give the longtime players exclusive skins, legacy emblems, or OG badges, and respect the time that people put in to the game, because people work, people have other busy schedules to attend to, that sometimes they only have, you know, so much time allotted for gaming. But if you respect those people's time and really appreciate the players that put that grind into your game, will give that same respect back to the developers or back to the game itself. But let's be honest here, Splitgate 2 is entering a brutal FPS market because it won't get the same budget as Call of Duty or the legacy of Halo or the esports push of even Valorant for that matter. But that might actually be its advantage, because if you look at it, loyalty doesn't come from just hype alone, it comes from trust. And if you can do that, that's a huge advantage that you have over any other game out there, because these types of trust issues come from games that don't give the players and the community that level of just being worth that trust. It comes from games that don't just treat you like a player, they treat you like a part of something bigger than just a player and just a number. If Splitgate 2 can deliver the gameplay, stay honest with its players, be transparent, give us tools to build our own fun, it could become a community-driven shooter in a time where most shooters just feel corporate and just disconnected, to be quite honest. So yeah, Splitgate 2 could build the most FPS friendly and loyal community if it commits to the long game, which I hope they do. It's not just chasing trends, if it's not chasing those battle passes, but it builds with something worth logging into every day, and not because you feel forced to grind, but because you want to. Now let me know what you think that Splitgate 2 needs in order to win people over. Is the portal mechanic enough, or does it need to go deeper than that and maybe apply something different? Does it need the, you know, fresh updates constantly, the constant support? What is it that you think Splitgate 2 needs in order to be healthy for the long game, and in order to have that long-term support where you feel like, yes, I want to keep coming back and playing this game because it's that fun. I want to support the game, I want to support the developers because they're doing such a good job. What is that this game needs in your opinion? Whatever your guys' thoughts are, please drop them in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to reading all of your comments and hearing what those are. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified every single time I upload a video. Now with that being said, this is GCP signing off.